Hey, what's up, guys? It's Randall from OddsJam back with you to explain to you how I made over $15,000 using OddsJam and the tools that they provide. So, as you can see, just starting out here, I've got a list of arbitrage opportunities that are currently available for me in Illinois. One thing I want to point out is for those of you that are in any other state than Illinois, you have way more opportunities to make money with arbitrage than I do. Um, in Illinois, we have to sign up for the sports books in person, and we do not have as many options as some of the other states, which I will go through later on in this video. So, just looking at these games or these arbitrage opportunities that you see, this was how I was able to make $15,000, actually more than $15,000 since using this product in May, with a combination of arbitrage bets as well as plus EV, as well as using the low holds page as well as the middles page. And I'm going to run through every single one of those to give you guys an idea of how you can capitalize with the tools that OddsJam has available. So this first one, it is a player prop, Jimmy Butler, over under 6.5 assists, minus 110 on Barstool, plus 132 on DraftKings. You know, I've talked to many customers recently about the player props, and one thing about player props is, you know, people make the mistake of taking this player prop, for example, and trying to throw down $1,000 on one side and trying to put 822 on the other side. Now, the books will take these bets initially, but over time, and maybe immediately with some of them, they are going to limit you. And so $1,000 on a player prop is not smart at all. Um, for me, I like to stick around the $100 to $150 range with player props. That's something that I've been doing since May. So, you know, just for example, on this one, let's say you wanted to put 150 on Jimmy Butler over 6.5 assists on Barstool, and you wanted to put, you would want to put 123 on the other side. You know, again, you want to round these numbers whenever you're doing the arbitrage betting. So, in doing this, this is a free $12.93. It's risk free, and you know, there's no way this can lose. So, when doing this, like I said, don't come into player props, you know, trying to get down $1,000 or even 500. Slow and steady on player props, 100 to 150 max is really about all you want to go on these player props. These lines are not very sharp to begin with, and when a lot of money comes in on one side, the books are going to move their lines. Which I also want to point out, if you are slow with some of these player props, this is a 4.5%. I actually bet this before I started this video. This one is probably long gone by now. I haven't refreshed the page just because I want to show you the opportunities that are available. But like I said, this one is definitely long gone. When you are betting these, you have to be quick. One of the tips that I tell people is I keep all of the sports books up in the background on my phone, as well as the OddsJam website with the arbitrage page pulled up. You know, every second matters when you're betting on these. And if you have to pull up the website and then you have to pull up the sports books, you know, these opportunities can disappear sometimes within 30 to 45 seconds. So you have to be quick. Arbitrage is not a passive form of income. It's just not. If you think that you get an email and you can go to it 2 or 3 minutes later and it will be there, you are mistaken. It's going to be long gone. So keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. It can be frustrating if you miss, you know, the first couple when you're starting out, but stick with it. Like I said, I'm in Illinois, the worst state that you can possibly be in to do this. So if I can make $15,000, you know, those of you that are in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Tennessee, Indiana, just to name a few, you will have no problem doing what I was able to do. So, you know, moving on, you know, here's another player prop. Like I said, this has not been refreshed, so some of these are probably long gone by now. And obviously, when you're watching this video, they're going to be gone. But, you know, just another example here. Here's a 3%. You know, let's say you want to do 150. you put 102 on the other side, risk-free $7.81. What I always tell people is, the side that is the favorite, so the one with the negative sign, in this case, Jakob Poeltl over 7.5 rebounds, that is the favored side, minus 136. This is where you want to put the majority of your money. For me, this number always, is going to be higher for everybody. It's going to be higher than what you're putting on the dog, because that's what creates the arbitrage opportunity. When you've got a discrepancy in these two lines. Let's say, for example, you get one that is plus money on both sides, which I do not see any that are, but let me just go ahead and change these odds and let's pretend that they are. So let's just say this is plus 120. In this instance, again, the lower side, which is the plus 120, that is the side that I'm going to want to put a majority of my money on. Because if I try to put 150 on this side, then I've obviously got to put more than the 150 that I want on this other side. So I would stick with 150 on this side. I would throw 130 on the other side. It would be a risk-free $50. This is just an example of both sides being the dog. This is not, in fact, an actual arbitrage opportunity. So, as you can see, scroll through here. For player props, for those of you that have BetMGM, I would be, very careful with those. Player props are not sharp to begin with in any book. And, when you bet these for large amounts of money, it's just not, it's not a responsible thing to do when you're doing it. This one here, it's not a big one, but this is a total minus 120 to minus 121 to the over, plus 125 to the under. Okay, this is a line here where you could get down a decent amount of money. Say let's put $600 on it. You're going to put 487 on the other side, profiting 882. Now granted, you're putting up $1,087 to make $8, but if you have the bankroll to do it, with this being a main line, this is definitely an alternate line on DraftKings, but this is probably a main line on Barstool, or very close to a main line. Those are the ones that you can bet for a little bit more money. Player props, again, here's another one. This is not a big one, but this would be the favored side, 150, 143 on the other side. I mean, you're only making 70 cents. I wouldn't suggest doing this, but again, just showing you the example of whatever the favorite is, that's where I'm putting, that max of 150 on the player props. So that's how I was able to make some money with the arbitrage. Like I said, I'm in Illinois, very limited on the number of books that I have available to me. So if you're in another state, the more books you have, the better. I just want to hop over here real quick to my arbitrage page, where I have documented, the amounts that I won. And I just want to say, up front, May 12th, I was very skeptical, I guess, if you will, of OddsJam starting out. It just sounds too good to be true, but they really do have the tools to make you a successful sports bettor and build your bankroll, as well. So May 12th, I decided to sign up, and, it was the best thing that I could do. It's ultimately landed me a job with them, as well as, made me some money. So as you can see, just some of these amounts, some days were bigger than others. When I started this, my goal was to make $25 a day, and I far exceeded that. I was averaging close to 100. You can see, like I said, these totals vary. Excuse me. These totals vary. So, May 24th, only $8. May 29th, $9. But, we had 116 in there, 70, 90, 60. This is all risk-free money. June 10th, I was coaching in a basketball tournament, so there was no time to put those in. But as you can see, $1,550 in a month's work. I've been asked why I don't calculate just, May to June, or, just the month of May. And the reason I have it set up like this is because I started my subscription on May 12th. So I wanted to see what a full month would give me. June to July, the hard baseball season, $1,900. July to August, this was a month where I took advantage of some risk-free bet opportunities, and also used the low holds page quite a bit in some of those free bets that I received, which I will show you here in just a second. So a lot of these days were extremely high. I mean, we had a $1,300 day followed by a $500 day. This was my best month, $5,471. Now, moving over here to October, to November. It looks like I've got these dates a little bit wrong, but as you can see, a couple days of nothing. I've been helping OddsJam out, and I haven't been able to do as much arbitrage as I have in the past. But in a 9-day sample here, you can see I've made $349. This is solely off of arbitrage. This does not include the plus EV, which I will get into here in just a second. So, that's kind of a summary of the arbitrage. Flip back over here. I'm just going to refresh this page just to see, what's available. So yeah, it looks like we've got, so this is a main line. If my laptop were working and I didn't have this geolocator that for whatever reason doesn't work, I would definitely put this in to show you guys, but it's hit or miss as far as that goes. But this is a main line here. Total points 45.5. It's minus 110 on DraftKings. It's plus 123 on Barstool. So this is one where I would probably look to put 550 down on DraftKings, and I'd look to put 470 down on Barstool. That's $29.15 risk free. This is one that cannot push. It's got the hook on it. The one I showed you earlier, if it landed, I believe it was 56, then it could be a push, and there would be no profit. You would get your money back on both sides. But this one here, great opportunity to get down a pretty good chunk of money. And yeah, like I said, $29 risk free. So here's another one, money line hockey, huge. This game's tomorrow. This is one main line, money line. You ought to be able to get a pretty good amount of money down. Let's say you want to bet 800 on the Capitals. You're going to hop over to FanDuel. You're going to put 478 on the Senators. Risk-free $22 right here. Risk-free $22 on this particular bet. And this is a money line. These are lines that take heavy action, that will take amounts greater than the player props. So, this would be one, now that I've built my bankroll up, that I would, definitely pursue for, more than a couple $100. And I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but when I started out with $1,000 in 3 accounts, and so 3,000 total. I bet every single ARB that was 2% or greater for $150 to $200 per side. I didn't get carried away, and my reasoning for that was I did not want to, have to move a bunch of money around, and I also just did not want to get, kind of hung out to dry where, maybe this line, let's say for example, I throw 800 on the minus 160. I hop over here to FanDuel, and let's say it moves to plus 155. So, I put 800 on this. Now I've put 509. I've lost 980. Let's say there was just a flurry of money on Ottawa, and this now all of a sudden goes down to plus, 130, and I have put 800 on Washington. I've now lost $65. So part of that is just me limiting my risk. With 150 to 200, I believe the most I've lost was like $26. So not detrimental. But if I would have locked this in on DraftKings first, hopped over to FanDuel, and it moved to plus 130, pretty big loss, especially if you're starting out. and you're new to it. I would encourage all of you when starting out with this to bet smaller amounts, get familiar with the books. As I said, this is not a passive income. You have to be very, very quick. I can't stress that enough. Some of these are gone within 30 to 45 seconds. So, when you get an alert, you have to be ready to go. Real quick before I jump over here to these other couple pages that I want to discuss, let's just take a look at Pennsylvania. It's a pretty good state as far as sports betting goes. This one right here, this has been up for probably close to 12 hours. This is an alternate line. So again, if I were doing this one, I would probably just say 250 on the minus 200 side. I'd look to get 115 on the other side, risk-free $9.62. With the alternate totals, this is not something I want to come in guns a-blazing, $1,000, 461 on the other side and make 38 bucks. My philosophy on this is slow and steady. I am somewhat limited on FanDuel as far as player props go, but everything else, Barstool, DraftKings, I'm good to go for the time being. So, just be wary, of these potential alternate lines. The last thing you want to do is go in, like I said, 1,000, 2,000, on your risk-free bet, trying to arb a player prop. It's not smart on your part. So, keep that in mind, as you go through this. I'm going to go overhead. I'm going to go over here and show you the low holds page. This is probably my favorite feature. I did a video earlier about the low holds page, and this is just a way to utilize your free bets and turn them into guaranteed profit, guaranteed cash. DraftKings, they will give you a lot of free bets from time to time if you do the same game parlays. They like to give it to you in the form of risk-free bets. So I'm going to turn this conversion to where it's the highest percentage. So let's just say I have a $50 free bet, and as I mentioned earlier, in my month of, over $5,000, I had a lot of free bets, and, $100 free bet here, throwing 520 on the other side nets me $80 profit. So guaranteed 80 bucks. Let's just say I bet this 100 on something that's minus 110. The most I'm getting back is $90. So why risk, why risk 10 bucks when you can guarantee yourself 80? That's the way I look at it. Every single bet I get from DraftKings that is a free bet, I come to this page and I utilize it. I get as much as I can out of that free bet. I don't have, looks like I'm still on Pennsylvania. So that would not be an accurate, accurate bet for me, since I had it on Pennsylvania. But if you are in Pennsylvania, that is one you can do. So, this one, let's say 75%, we'll just do it again. $100 free bet. I'm still getting $75 guaranteed. I'm putting $375 on the other side, guaranteeing myself 75 bucks. Do this with all of your free bets, those $25 ones, $50 ones. It all adds up. Every single little bit adds up. So this low holds page is huge. Another thing I like and that I want to point out is you can sort this by the hold percentage. So just this last weekend, I got a mission from DraftKings, place four $200 bets, and when they settle, you get a $60 free bet. So you know what I did? I came here to the low holds page. Why? Because right here, this hold is 0% on this. Now, this is a player prop, so I would avoid this one. However, this one is not. All right. This is a first quarter money line bet. No hold. All right. So I would then jump over here to the calculator, arbitrage, plus 140, minus 140. And I believe the DraftKings side was the plus, but really it doesn't matter. So whatever side it was on for DraftKings, I would do 200 because that's what I need to do to complete my mission. I need 4 bets. of $200 or more. So I'm throwing 200 on the plus 140, 280 on the minus 140. Notice profit is zero, but I have accomplished the goal of the $200 bet. So I put together 4 of those. I found 4 of them with 0% hold, and I got my $60 free bet. So take advantage of it. The low holds page is extremely useful. I know it's a lot of fun to throw those free bets on long shots. I'm guilty of it. I got an $8 free bet from the Nuggets game the other night where it went over 200 by 8 points, and I threw it on Green Bay to win the Super Bowl and the Red Sox to win the World Series. That went up in flames the very next day, but it was like an $8 free bet to win 1,700. So, I'm not going to, utilize the low holds page for an $8 free bet but for a $25 bet all day long. You can guarantee yourself anywhere from 19 to 22 bucks, depending on what percentage you can grab. And then the last page that I want to talk about, that has been an extremely useful tool for me since joining OddsJam, and it's the positive EV page, or the plus EV page. So again, you can sort this by percentage. When I do these, I like to stick with the 1 to 6%. I also like to throw in my handicapping angles and my handicapping strategies. So there are a lot of models and different things I look for when betting on games. And like I said, I come to this page a couple of weeks ago. I did a video on the Bengals Packers game. I love the Bengals +4 in that spot. It was a terrible scheduling spot for Green Bay. And I locked that in on Monday. I got the Bengals +4. I knew I was going to be on it. I knew the line was going to go the other way. Pinnacle had Bengals +4, I believe, like -165. I ended up getting it like -130 or -125 on Barstool. So huge discrepancy. And like I said, very, very beneficial for me as a handicapper, who has models, who has power ratings to look at these games and determine, where the edge is from a handicapping standpoint as well as a mathematical standpoint. So, just scrolling through these, unfortunately, a lot of these are hockey, soccer. I mean, I don't handicap either one. I'm not going to pretend to. So I would avoid these personally. But one here, maybe an example. Um, Green Bay Packers, Washington football team tomorrow. Pinnacle has this first half money line Green Bay -287. DraftKings has it -220. This might be a play that I look at in the NFL. I'm not a big fan of first half money line or first half spreads, totals, or anything like that. But, I do think Green Bay, maybe comes out and gets after it in this game a little bit. But, as I scroll through here, here's one, um, that potentially could, you know, have some value if, I were betting it. But again, I'm not a you know, I'm not a first half play kind of guy. So the Lions here, +320 on Pinnacle, you can get +390 on Barstool. So, this is getting in that range of 12%. It's a little out of what I like to do. Like I said, I like to stick within the 1 to 6 range. That's just my personal preference when doing this. So, this game in particular, maybe Jared Goff comes back to Los Angeles and he has a great first half, and the Lions play hard and they can hang, and then the Rams take it to them in the second half. But there's some good value here, from that perspective. And like I said, I wouldn't bet on this. It's a little higher than what I like to look for in the percentage, but you know, this page is absolute gold for me, especially at the beginning of the week when the college football lines come out, the NFL lines come out, and then even on Saturday mornings, I find myself constantly on this page, just looking for opportunities. like I said, I have power ratings for college football, and I have totals and spreads that I set for every game, based on the opponents that are playing. And so, I'll come through here, and if a game catches my eye that has a lot of value, like, let's just say, for example, this was a college football game, minus 147 on Pinnacle, minus 129 on Barstool. I'm going to go look at this, and I'm going to see what my line is for this particular college game. And if there's an edge, and then obviously there's an edge with Pinnacle, the sharpest book in the world, I am going to bet that line on Barstool. Now, again, this is an NBA example, but just for example purposes, pretending that this is college, this would be a play that I would definitely be looking to bet on. So as I said, OddsJam has so many tools. They have the live odds page where you can pull those up, and you can look at the live odds for college football. If the NFL were going, you would be able to do the same. But you can look at all of this. This is huge. As a sports bettor, if you're looking to play this game, just for example, Green Bay minus 7.5, minus 115 on FanDuel, minus 125 on DraftKings. Why would you lay 125 when you can lay 115? It just doesn't make any sense. So, check this out. It is such a great tool. Um, as a sports bettor, this stuff adds up. You'd be surprised. This stuff adds up. The more vig you lay, the harder it is for you to beat the books. That's just the bottom line. If you're laying 125 consistently, you're going to have a hard time beating the books. 115, your odds are a little bit better. Still going to be difficult, but it can be done. So check this out. I mean, these odds are real time, and they're constantly changing. When the books change. So check it out. You can get the best of the number, which is ultimately what you want to do as a sports bettor. Just real quick, I'm going to hop back over here to the arbitrage page, just see if anything, has popped up. So it looks like some more player props. Again, 1%. I'm not even messing with this. This isn't even worth, putting 150 down on. 150, 129 on the other side, $3. That's not worth my time. I'm looking for 2% and above, or I'm looking for, maybe 1.5% on a money line, where I can bet a little bit more. So, as I said at the beginning, using OddsJam, it made me over $15,000 since May, and I continue to make money each day. If you look at this sheet today, just from the arbitrage side, right now I'm up $108. This is just solely arbing, and I mean, I've been very busy today. This has not been me just sitting around at home on the computer. If you can sit around at home on the computer from say 7 in the morning until 10 in the morning, I mean, I've made $300-400 in a day. So depending on the time you have, it depends. I mean, it goes hand in hand with how much money you can make. The more time you have, the more money you have, the more money you can make. It's just as simple as that. So, thanks for checking out the video. If you guys have any questions at all, you can email me, Randall at oddsjam.com. Or I'm sorry, Randall at oddsjam. Yeah, Randall at oddsjam.com. And, I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have. Anything that you guys want to discuss. If you'd like to hop on a phone call, I can do that as well. But again, check out OddsJam. You can make $15,000 just like I did. And if you're in another state besides Illinois, you can make a hell of a lot more. So have a good day, and yeah, check out OddsJam.